The views and opinions expressed on this program are not necessarily those of this station, JVC Broadcasting Management, or its sponsors.
With so many people living longer, the fear of outliving your money becomes a reality for many of us. Will I be a financial burden? Will I outlive my money? How will I be remembered? My name is Neil Himmelstein, president of Main Street Planning Group. Please contact me by visiting mainstreetplanninggroup.com. That's mainstreetplanninggroup.com, or call 631-647-4694. I will introduce you to strategies that will guarantee you will not outlive your money, that can guarantee you will not be a burden on your loved ones. Through a collaborative approach, we will uncover solutions that offer tax-efficient strategies, lifetime income, and legacy planning, choice, organization, direction, and education. That is the code we stand behind. Contact mainstreetplanninggroup.com. That's mainstreetplanninggroup.com, or call 631-647-4694. And listen to me every Friday at 3 p.m. as I host the Main Street Code for Financial Success, right here on 103.9 LI News Radio. Good afternoon. Welcome to the Main Street Code for Financial Success. I'm your host, Neil Himmelstein. We talk about our code, choice, organization, direction, and education. We help hundreds of financial advisors, attorneys, CPAs in giving them great advice on their insurance, on doing policy reviews, reviewing your policy information for life insurance, disability, long-term care, cancer insurance. All types of insurance is very important that you have them reviewed and know what they're doing, and that you have an expert just in that particular area is so important. What a great asset class it is. The one protection class that you can have, life insurance, something that is totally asset protected and free from taxes, and it's a lump sum of money that goes to your heirs that can take care of many different things, whether it's your business, your personal life. Very important. The last month, we have spent a great deal of time talking about long-term care insurance. It was Long-Term Care Awareness Month and the importance of that. The last 2 weeks, we had a guest on who specialized in a great way of funding it with reverse mortgages and different things. And I've also, in a past show, talked about Alzheimer's. I was at an Alzheimer's event, foundation event, and it's been giving me a lot of thought process. And I want to go back into talking about Alzheimer's, because I was at a meeting this week, and the average time that people have Alzheimer's, people don't understand this, Alzheimer's, dementia, it's a 9-year process on average. That once you get Alzheimer's, you have it for 9 years. That's amazing to me, because having a cognitive illness like Alzheimer's is a major trigger for needing care, or long-term care, or custodial care. And I want to talk about that. And the other statistic, and I don't want to just throw out numbers, but I was reading online, 1/3 of all deaths, people, of seniors, have dementia or Alzheimer's or die from it. 1/3 of us. Now, I also learned that many people get it in their 50s. Early onset is very common. And when we talk about onset of dementia and Alzheimer's, when it's our own family member or somebody we're familiar with, we may not know the signs. We may not see it because we're familiar with that person every day. And it's only an outsider at some point. You may have early onset of dementia or something, or your spouse may have it, and you may not even recognize it, or or your spouse or someone's a little eccentric, and maybe their eccentricities you've just gotten used to, and you don't recognize it on a daily basis, so it may not be diagnosed. And therein lies a big, big problem, because life can change in an instant. And what do I mean by that? Somebody may have Alzheimer's or early onset or something. They may be driving in their car, forget where they are, and we've heard many instances where somebody's driving down the wrong way, down Sunrise Highway or the Long Island Expressway, or upstate, there was a big accident, and they're just driving in the opposite direction of the flow of traffic, right into traffic. It happened to me one night when I was coming home from a party on Sunrise Highway. I had a car driving right at me. I'm like, holy crap. And it's not always because they're drunk. It's because they forgot. They didn't know. It was that 1 second in time that somebody didn't remember something that could create harm to their life and somebody else's life. Very, very scary. And it's very, very common that people have dementia and Alzheimer's. And it progresses, and it's very frightening. Not only for the person who realizes that they're forgetting things or sometimes don't know where they are. I know, listen, I'm absent-minded. I mean, there was an occasion I put on 2 different pair of shoes. One on the right foot, one on the left. They were actually 2 different pair. I'm going, I'm sitting at work. I had a brown shoe and a black shoe. They felt the same, but, but that happens. But, when it starts to happen on a more regular basis, or please somebody tell me, but it may happen slowly, it may happen fast, but when it happens, it could be so detrimental, not just to the person who has it, or may make a mistake, but to that person, that their loved ones or they become a caregiver. So you now have to caregive 24/7. So if you're a person like me and you're running a business, or someone else, or working, and your spouse has Alzheimer's or has dementia, you're going to have to stop your work and take care of that person, or hire someone to take care of that person. And the cost of hiring people to be around 24/7 can get up there to $300-$400 a day. We're not even talking about going into a home. All of a sudden, your world changes if you're going to take care of that loved one or someone else. Not just the person who has the dementia or Alzheimer's, but the caregiver as well. Average time someone has Alzheimer's, 9 years. Now, if they need assisted living or a home or something, could cost up to $400 a day, $500 a day here on Long Island. Okay? It's big money. I mean, stupid money. Hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. What does that do to your portfolio? What does that do to your life? What does that do to you not only emotionally, oh my God, but financially? It could devastate a family. And it has, and it continues. Now, with heart ailments, you could have a heart attack and be better today and go for 30 more years. Or you could have a stroke and then live for 8 years, but with a serious impairment. And these are called custodial long-term care events that if you had an insurance policy, a long-term care insurance policy, that it would take care of those events. It would take that asset, and so you won't have to go through your own assets. What a long-term care policy does, it actually is a contract which will give you somebody behind the scenes to help you navigate the situation. Number one, assess the situation, whether you need stuff in the home, whether you need daycare, whether you need assisted living or a nursing home. You have somebody behind the scenes that will, A, gives you a huge cost savings because they already have contracts with all these places, can get you a bed reservation, can get you the help you need, save you a ton of money just by being there, but also be an advocate for you to help you in your time of need, or your spouse's time of need, or your mother's time of need, or your father's time of need. Having that long-term care policy does that for you. And you don't have to go through your own personal assets to do that. That's what the policy is for. So the likelihood of you needing this type of care as we get older increases incrementally. And I've given you these figures in the past. 70% of all people turning past the age of 65 are going to need some sort of long-term care, whether it's cognitive with Alzheimer's or dementia, or a physical impairment from a stroke, from this, from that. or you break a hip. These are all long-term care events. And this is why you purchase a long-term care insurance policy. There are many forms of buying this type of policy. There's the traditional, strictly long-term care, and then there are these what they call hybrid policies with living benefits with long-term care rider possibly. I want to go a little more into that after the break. You're listening to Neil Himmelstein. I can be reached at 631-647-4694. This is the Main Street Code for Financial Success, and we're going to be back in about a couple minutes here, and I thank you very much. Welcome back to the Main Street Code for Financial Success. I'm your host, Neil Himmelstein. If you need to reach me, I'm at 631-647-4694. You can always visit my website at mainstreetplanninggroup.com. On my website, I have many of my old recordings of radio shows, and I'm now on Spotify as well. For those of you who like podcasts and want to listen to some of these shows. And I really encourage you to give me a call and ask me questions, whether you want me to cover it on the show or you have a personal situation, whatever your financial situation is, whether you're looking to save money for retirement, protect money after retirement, you want somebody to review your insurance policies, you want your advisor to review your policies, or you want to see one of our advisors that can assist you in your planning, whether it's life insurance or long-term care or disability planning, business planning. Very important that you protect your business through credit protection, life protection, disabled protection, all these different protections. Today we talked earlier about Alzheimer's and the devastating effect it has on families and how it's such a long-term care event. And I wanted to go into a couple things. One, I do want to tell you, there's a couple ways of buying long-term care insurance, and the reason I bring this up is there are standalone policies. There's not that many, but you could get what they call a standalone, or just in itself buy long-term care insurance, or you can buy it through a life insurance policy if which may act as double duty dollars, I like to call it. So if you need the long-term care, you have a policy for it, but if you don't, you have a death benefit that goes to your heirs. And maybe you can't qualify for that. There's also these critical illness riders, living benefit riders on long-term care policy. It's not a true long-term care policy, but if you have a devastating long-term event, they will pay you a portion of the death benefit prior to you dying so that you can use it while you're living. I think it's very important. And I specifically think the biggest cause, or I know the biggest cause is Alzheimer's or dementia. And I wanted to talk just a little bit, my family, my father-in-law, who was a principal of an elementary school and had studied at Oxford University, extremely bright, well-read individual, very smart historian, ran a historical society, had Alzheimer's, and very, till he passed away, went through this very long, tragic process with Alzheimer's and dementia. And, you go through this process and you realize that, somebody would take their dogs out for a walk and just keep walking. Walked into the swimming pool one day when nobody was around. Luckily, he was a lifeguard when he was younger and was able to swim to the side. But you just don't know. I know people who go to the store and don't come back. It's tragic. It's horrible. You don't realize when it's happening. And then the care is and the wear and tear on the caregiver is tremendous. And in our situation, my wife had to help take care of him while our kids were little, and I was away. And, she had to drive 45 minutes to pick him up and take care of him and drive an hour back. And, our whole lives were interrupted. Her life was completely interrupted. And it affected the kids. It affected him. It affected her. It affected me. It affects everybody. And that's what you have to realize when these things come up. And as I said before the break, if you're living with somebody, you may or may not catch all the signs. So you have to, I used to go on Thanksgiving and the holidays and visit my aunt and uncle at their house, and I didn't realize my uncle had it. But every time I saw my uncle, he would say, "Come on in, the water's fine." And I thought he was funny for a while. I realized he had 5 or 6 catchphrases, and he would just repeat them over and over till he passed away. That was just what he did. And he had Alzheimer's as well. And I don't know if the extent of care that my aunt had gone through or not gone through, but you realize it's quite the turmoil financially and medically. And with COVID, and I hate, I know COVID, but you know what? The mental stress of this pandemic on people's lives and the isolation of seniors, of parents, of grandparents, of not seeing people only exacerbates the problem and makes it worse. And the new statistics that are coming out, I don't know how bad they're going to be on the mental nervous system. And yes, they're coming out with drugs all the time and therapies and trying to help. But at the end of the day, this could last 9 years is the average that someone, once they start having dementia, goes on for 9 years. The financial aspect and devastation of that is just off the charts. So we like to help you prepare for that. And we do family planning. Now, it could be done through life insurance. It could be through a long-term care policy. But I think it's so important that you understand there are financial tools that can help you. And I have to keep saying this and keep saying this and keep telling you the same thing. You could have the best financial advisor in the market. We've had a great bull run. A great bull run. But no matter how good a bull run is, you could see last week you might have down days. You might have a down year. You might have a down month. With this pandemic, with other things, with tourism stopping and starting, and you could see how it affects all these different industries. And the worst thing that could possibly happen is if you're living off your portfolio and all of a sudden you get Alzheimer's or dementia, and then you hit a down market and you need to withdraw from that portfolio to pay for your care or someone else's care while the market is down, you will never recoup what you had saved for that rainy day. So while I believe in the market and believe in investing, it's so important. It's a great asset. You need that asset of protection. And that asset of protection is life insurance and long-term care. That's your asset of protection, not just for you as you're living and for others around you. It's so, so important to have every aspect and have a professional in each one of these areas. You need a specialist. You need a specialist for your legal wills and documents. You need a specialist to do your accounting, and you need a specialist for your financial investing possibly, and you need a specialist that will protect your investments with insurance. That's what we do. We are insurance specialists, attorneys, your financial advisors. They reach out to us all day long. What is the best way to protect my clients? That's what we do, and we're here for you to do that and help you in those areas. And your policies need to be reviewed and looked at on a consistent basis because they change. The market makes them change like your investments change. The insurance world has changed and is continually changing. There's a lot of things that affect the insurance world. Years ago, you'd have a heart attack, the next day you were dead. Today, they can keep you alive for ever. Big difference. So medical science changes, but we stay alive, but in what capacity? And we're going to need help and need care. So it's all very important. I'm very happy to be helping everybody. I hope everybody's having a terrific holiday season so far, not to be stressed out, and enjoy your families. Really enjoy listening to you and hearing from you. This is Neil Himmelstein. This is the Main Street Code for Financial Success. I can be reached at 631-647-4694. You can always visit my website at mainstreetplanninggroup.com. Thank you. Have a beautiful day. It's a gorgeous weekend. Thanks again.
The views and opinions expressed on this program are not necessarily those of this station, JVC Broadcasting Management, or its sponsors.